Every morning in China and also in America, in places like Philadelphia, San Francisco, New York City, millions of people, either alone or gathered in small groups or large groups, get together in beautiful places such as this park or on street corners to practice Qigong. Qigong literally means the work of the life force. Qi, spelled C-H-I or Q-I, is the power of the life force that flows through all of us and all of nature. Gong, G-O-N-G or K-U-N-G, is the work that one gives oneself to, a life's work. So Qigong is a 5,000-year-old practice for wellness and healing that can be done to enhance the well-being of an individual, and that's called self-cultivation Qigong. Or it can be done as medical Qigong, when a Qigong doctor or practitioner treats patients for their well-being or their return to health. Qigong is not a religion, although it can enhance our spiritual paths. My call is to follow the teachings of Jesus, and I do that as best I can, and Qigong has deepened my experience of Christianity. All traditions are respected by me, and you might find that your tradition is deepened by the practice of Qigong as well. It's based on a theory called the 5 elements theory, which include fire, earth, air, sometimes called metal, water, and wood, and they surround us and they affect us all. You'll notice that my apparel is a little different. When we do Qigong or Tai Chi or a lot of the martial arts, inner or outer martial arts, we use things that are comfortable. Loose-fitting clothing of any sort is good. You may find some people will have silky kinds of garments on, almost looking like pajamas. The idea is that it helps to facilitate the flow of the qi by using something silky, but plain old cotton is very nice as well. On my chest you see the symbol for qi, which, as you know now, is the life force, which we're going to draw from our beautiful surroundings here by our moving, our breathing, and our meditating. We'll do some warm-ups and some simple Qigong moves for the first part of our experience. Then we'll move into a set called the 5-element Qigong Tai Chi series. So let's begin with some opening circles. We want to kind of be loose and relaxed. You don't want the knees to be locked in any way. And just kind of open your heart and your chest and your back with some very nice large circles. You can do as many of these as you like. And we can go slowly, as if we're moving through an element, the element of qi, or the force that's in everything. And I'm going to pivot a little bit to my left and continue these circles. And you can do that as well. Those of you who are more familiar with this kind of work or play will know that you want to keep the movements flowing from one posture to another without a break, if you can do that. But in the beginning you may need to stop and start as you move from form to form. And now I'm going to just pivot on my feet once again to the right and continue with these opening circles. The idea being that we're opening ourselves up to the universe. And to the front once again. As many as you like. A little more slowly than you might imagine. You don't want to go real fast. Depending on your day and your mood, it will vary a little bit. And we can bring those into stillness. And I'm going to kind of move over my physical body now and pull off what the Chinese call evil qi, Kind of a strange concept for Westerners, but you might think of it as the stress that clings to you, that we pick up when we're around some people who sort of drain us and bring us down, and other folks who enliven us or give us a lift. We don't end at our skin. We draw from the people around us. So our bodies, our minds, our spirits get stressed. And this is kind of a way of pulling it out and throwing it into the earth to be recycled. And in the West, we tend to forget this. So it's good to remember to do this little kind of ritual of cleansing the evil chi. Now I'm going to raise my palms up and let my arms float upward to the heavens. And when they get upward, move them back down again, palms down. This movement is called connecting heaven and earth. In the Chinese tradition, we live really in three realms: the heavenly realm, and the earthly realm, and the human realm. And we humans are in between the two, and we draw from the chi of heaven above and the chi that surrounds us in all of nature, and it kind of mixes within us. And this symbolizes pulling down the heavenly chi and moving up the earthly chi. Kind of the ups and downs, the darkness and light that we all deal with, that might be depicted here in the sunlight for us. It mixes in the area below the navel called the dantian, sometimes called the hara, or just sometimes the lower abdomen. You'll hear me using those various terms as we move through the day. We actually want to do our work out of that area. We want to collect chi into the dantian, and if you were a qigong doctor or healer, you would be pulling the chi out to transmit to another person through that area. So the center of our being is not the head or the heart, but actually this area below the navel. Now we'll move into another little qigong move called lifting the sky. We can place our hands downward, make a little platform with our hands, palm facing downward, and we're going to swing our hands outward, arms extended, and just let them float up. And when they get to the top of the head, we'll give a little push to the sky and let them float downward, palms downward. Lifting the sky. Fingertips toward one another. Hands floating upward. Think of the sky being lifted up and the chi from the sky washing over us. We'll do another one of those. I'll do a few of these various things, and you're able to run, rerun, take notes, anything you like. If I were with a large group and we were not captured on tape, I would do some more of these, but I'm sure you get the idea. I'm going to flow into carrying the moon. So I'm going to bend at my waist, fingertips toward the earth, and gently move upward. Unbending at the waist, arms extended. Hands are going to float up above my head. I'm going to use my first finger and thumb to make a circle above my head like a moon. And give it a little push and let it float downward. The chi of the moon washing over us, so to speak. And we'll just flow right into the next one. The moon chi is yin chi, which is cooler. Yang chi is hot, and that would be the chi of the sun. Nice circle above us with a little push. Arms floating downward, palms downward. We'll do one more of these. Are you breathing? Let's remember to breathe. There's a tendency to hold our breath when we do some of this work. or even just working out in the gym. But we don't want to do that. We want to breathe from the lower abdomen as best we can. Now let's just relax. And I'm going to flow into some figure eights with my hips. And you want the feet to be maybe shoulder width apart or a little more. And for some feedback for beginning, you might want to put your hands on your hips. We're going to take that left hip and push it back, and then push it toward the right and front, making a figure eight. And then the right hip goes back and then goes across, making the eight to the upper left quadrant. And then the left hip back, so that the crux of the eight is between the legs, and we're moving in a kind of a backward move. And this may take a little practice for you, but it's extremely helpful. You'll see that a lot of these moves loosen up the various joints of the body, such as shoulders, arms, hips, ankles. And this move helps to connect the top and the bottom of the being, the body. We can add that heaven and earth move, a little variation of it actually, a kind of a U shape, by letting the arms float upward and downward in the middle as we make the move. Palms downward. This gives an added dimension. What I'm going to do now is reverse those figure eights. I'm going to push the hips forward. So again, you can take your left hand and push that left hip forward, and let's move the diagonally across to the right back and move that forward, right front. Figure eight in the forward direction. The first one, when we did it toward the back, was the yin figure eight, and this is the yang figure eight. Takes a little practice, but it's very helpful. And again, just to confuse you, I'm going to add a little movement with my hands, kind of a connecting heaven and earth. As I move the right hip, the right hand goes up on the right side, left hip, hands go up on the left side. And breathing from the Dantian. Every once in a while you may feel the need to yawn, which is your body thirsting for more oxygen. Feel free to do that. You may feel a sigh being emitted or a sound. Let go of your tension in that way. Great. And I'm going to move into a little bit of stillness for a moment. And then just kind of extend my arms outward. And let's look like we're turning on two faucets. And pull back. And let's move forward. Turn the faucets off again. Turn the faucets on. Pull back. Move the arms forward. And turn the faucets once again. Good. One more time. Feeling free to yawn or to sigh or to stretch. To do these things as often as you like. If something kind of feels very good for you, be with that. Let's the arms relax comfortably at your sides. Take a moment and experience what's going on. Drop inward. We often forget to do that in the West. What's going on? Are you beginning to feel a little warmth or tingle or pulse? Is there a little tightness or a little pain, something like that, that's new to you? Then just be with it, and you'll find that it will most likely resolve very quickly as that meridian opens up. Very good. Now I'm going to just kind of hang from my hips. And I'm going to turn to the side, but you don't need to do that. So you get a little sense of it. A little buoyancy, a little bouncing. And feet more than hip width apart. Let's take the fingers and touch them to the opposite toes. And if any of this is a little bit beyond your comfort level, feel free to skip it or adapt it. Respect your own challenge, your own limits, and just go with it. We're moving into a couple little yoga postures, actually, which help to loosen up the physical body. And one is to get on all fours. The knees are under the hips, the hands are under the shoulders. And just think of the tailbone being pulled back behind you and the head being pulled forward. And just stretch the spine. This is called the table in yoga. And let's arch the back and tuck in the chin to do the cat. And reverse it, belly down, head up, for the dog. We're waking up our spine, reminding it that it's made up of a lot of pieces and that it can loosen up and hydrate the discs. Again, doing what is comfortable for you, not going beyond any medical recommendations. I'm going to do an Indian push-up, which might be a little bit beyond what we're doing. I'm just going to kind of move through my hands here and stand on my toes. You can just watch, or if you know a little yoga, you can do this. This is called the upward dog. And breathe. And the spine is realizing it can bend forward like this. And I'm going to move up in the air with my rear and do the downward dog. And walk my hands and feet together. And very slowly straighten up the spine from the base upward, vertebra by vertebra. Waking up the physical body helps to wake up the chi body or the energy body. Sometimes we just go right to the chi. At other times, if we have more time, we do some physical moving as well. We have the circulatory system of the heart and the blood vessels, but we also have the circulatory system of the chi, which flows through the meridians and connects to the major organs. You can use a candle or some incense or some soft music, if you like, in the background to do your Qigong. But it's good not to become too dependent on it. So you'll hear a little music in our background, but there may be times when there is no music. It's helpful to be able to integrate this kind of work into your day. A few moments in the privacy of your office, if you have one at work, or in the stairwell, or in the parking lot, or in your car before you go in is very, very helpful. A few thoughts about breathing. I said earlier we want to breathe from our dantian. When we're little babies, that's exactly what we do. You may remember little babies, when they inhale, the stomach inflates, the lower abdomen. When they exhale, it contracts, it relaxes. We want to do that at least some time during our day, every once in a while, maybe taking a few minutes to do that. or just being aware of the breath is extremely helpful. We don't want to breathe just with our rib cage, which is anxious breathing, which is shallow breathing. We want to oxygenate our blood, and we want to vitalize the chi that will flow through us, maximize everything we can, draw it all from the universe. In terms of meditation, there are wonderful books available for it that can fit well into your particular spiritual path or philosophy. You can sit in the Japanese style, which is back on your heels, as I am doing right here. There are little meditation benches you can buy that are really just 3 pieces of wood, a seat kind of, and 2 sides. You go over your ankles or lower legs, and you can sit back on them, and they're very comfortable. They tilt a little bit forward, which tilts the pelvis forward and allows the spine to stay pretty straight, which is very helpful in meditation to allow the chi to move up the spine and to flow well. The use of a mantra, M-A-N-T-R-A, or a repetitive word or phrase is extremely helpful. If you're wondering how to begin to meditate,